Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Craig Mason, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast, and as always, I'm joined by Babby and Paul.
Hello.
Oh ho ho ho.
Mm-hmm.
We have a pretty slow week, I would say. Barely any gaming things.
Gaming.
I was basically just kind of scraping around the internet a couple hours ago trying to find stuff that happened this week, so I was able to find enough to hopefully fill out an episode, but yeah, there's not a whole lot going on. I feel like last week was like a big thing with all the Oscars hullabaloo and The Last of Us ending. Like that was a very beefy podcast, and this one is just kind of like just a chill little one. So that's kind of exciting, I guess.
Really?
We'll start with gaming news. As always, there's just one little bit of gaming news, to my knowledge, unless I'm utterly incorrect and something huge happened this week that I don't remember. But I think it was yesterday, there was a new trailer for the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor game. It was the story
Sounds like a mobile
trailer.
game.
It is not a mobile game.
Nobody puts Survivor in the title if it's a mobile game, though. Come on.
Y'all guys
Breaking
don't
the
have
trend.
phones?
You guys
You're
don't have
breaking the
phones.
trend.
Is Survivor a mobile game, like popular?
Survivor, survival,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that is true.
survive.
I guess
Subway Surfers.
Subway Surfers survived.
Subway Survivors.
It's every single mobile game. Temple Run,
Yeah.
Survivor, Angry Bird survived. It's all of
Damn,
them.
they gotta survive somehow, you know?
That's true. You can't just kill pigs.
Gotta kill and eat them.
That's right. I don't know if they're carnivorous birds. I don't think that's in the film, but I haven't seen it, so maybe.
I don't know,
maybe
I'll
it's
look
in
it
the-
up.
Please
Look it up for later. I'm not going to, but let's pretend I do.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot to say about this trailer for the new Star Wars Jedi game. I think it comes out April 28th because it was delayed. I think it was originally supposed to come out like a couple weeks ago. So it's all right. I mean, you know, I liked the first game enough. It wasn't like completely groundbreaking. I think it had a really unfortunate release time because I believe it released like a couple months after Sekiro, and the games are very similar. I think that the Jedi Fallen Order people were taking a From Software blueprint and then like making their own thing. Where it's like, what if we were doing like parries and stuff? Where instead of dodging, you're like reflecting stuff with your lightsaber. I guess that does fit pretty good. But then Sekiro is just exactly that. So it was like we got two very similar games back to back, and one of them is, I mean, it's in my opinion the best From Software game. I know a lot of people will disagree.
Disagree.
I know you disagree. You're a
I
big
haven't
Elden
played
Ring
it.
stan.
Exactly.
And some people are absolute Bloodborne stans, so I
Ew.
feel like most people would disagree with me, but whatever, it's
And
my
people
opinion.
who own a PS4.
That's true. There is a Twitter account that just tweets, it's like, as of this date, there has not been a PC port for Bloodborne that has been announced. At this point, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Because it's been
Never
like,
know.
how long? Like 8 years maybe? Since
Something like that.
Bloodborne, like 2015-ish? So, but granted, God of War is on PC, and that game came out like in 2017, so there's hope. But there was a new God of War game being made, and that's why that was on the PC. I don't think they're making a new Bloodborne. I mean,
No.
well, I mean, I guess we don't really know. The next From Software game is going to be the Armor Core 4 or whatever. But I don't think they're making a new Dark Souls. I think after Dark Souls 3, they made an announcement that that was going to be like the break in the series for a minute. So I would say the Bloodborne's probably next up, if for any of their existing IPs. So who knows, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. The trailer for the Star Wars game, which we were originally talking about, it looks fine, you know? It's the story, which I thought was, I guess that was the strongest part of the first game. Because the game was kind of released a little buggy. It is an EA vehicle, so I guess that is to be expected. So we'll see. I haven't seen an EA game get delayed. Or was Battlefield delayed? Battlefield was delayed. Right? The new one?
It was probably.
Was it delayed?
Yeah, I think so, actually. It was still broken on launch, but.
Well, yeah. Isn't it still broken?
I would hope not, but I don't know. I feel like nobody plays that game.
Yeah. So who knows? They delayed this game 6 weeks, so I don't think it's. If it's going to be buggy, I don't think they can fix it in 6 weeks. But who knows? I'm not a game developer.
Who knows?
They're probably in crunch mode right now, though, which is awesome. I love that. There's so many people that like speak out against crunch, but I'm like one of the few journalists that thinks it's a good thing, because
I didn't know you're a journalist.
well, you know, I'm pretty much a highly respected gaming journalist.
Gaming journalists are already a pretty low bar, so I feel like he could kind of, you know.
I feel like I have a decent amount of journalistic integrity,
Yeah.
but I guess I don't have the degree, so I guess I probably can't declare myself as such. I didn't go to school to learn how to read Twitter, which is what
Wow.
gaming journalism
You
is.
didn't.
No. So
But everyone took that class.
I wish. Everybody should get a gaming journalism degree. Everybody works for Kotaku. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably talk about it when it comes out, maybe. But I think it comes out like 2 or 3 weeks before Breath of the Wild 2, which I guess gives a decent amount of time. But the star, it kind of feels like this is going to be like the Horizon of Star Wars games, or like the Horizon series on PlayStation. Like the first one came out like right after Breath of the Wild, and so like nobody really was talking about it because Breath of the Wild changed the game. And then the second one came out like a couple weeks after Elden Ring or something. So it was like nobody was talking about that game either. I feel like that this is going to be the oops, Sekiro, and then for the second one they're like, we're going to make it an open world game, and then it's releasing a couple weeks before Breath of the Wild 2. So I don't know. We'll see. But I do like that you don't have to wear a poncho. That was the only bit of customization in that game, was just different colors of ponchos. That was kind of lame. But now you can wear like actual shirts. So that's pretty cool, if I do say so myself.
Oh yeah.
So that's it for gaming news. Unless there's something I'm missing. But I don't think there is.
No.
There's always something you're missing.
Yeah, that is true. Theoretically, there was, I feel like there is something that happened, but I can't quite think of it. So It can't have been that important. I don't know why I'm doing this tone like I know that I'm missing something. All right, let's move on to show news. We have a smidgen of show news, but I guess enough to keep us updated. So last week we talked about The Last of Us finishing. So now the conversation has shifted to when season 2 is going to come out, stuff like that, information about season 2. I think Bella Ramsey said that she expects it to be out in 2 years, which I suppose, I guess that's a reasonable source as any. But I wouldn't exactly trust an actor on when it would get released, because a producer, for sure. Druckmann, yes. But I wouldn't trust Pedro Pascal if he was like, yo, it's coming out on
I
December
wouldn't trust
20th.
Bella Ramsey either. They're about to be in it the same amount.
That's true. Well, no, that's the thing. That's what the update is. Craig Mazin, who is the co-creator of the Chernobyl Man, came out and said there is going to be no recasting for The Last of Us 2. He said that, yes, there is a time jump that happens, but it sounds like they're going to truncate that time jump to only be a couple years as opposed to the 4 or 5 years, I think it is. Mm-hmm. It's like 14 to 19, I think. 13 to 19? I don't know how old he is. So they're just like kind of shrinking it. And then Bella Ramsey is still going to be playing Ellie in the second one. Pedro Pascal is still going to be playing Joel. I don't know the name of the guy who plays Tommy, but he's probably still going to be there. So there you go. No recastings. Now we just need
That'll
to.
be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm sure it'll be good. Like I don't know. Bella Ramsey's a good Ellie, so I feel like, we'll see. We'll see how they handle it. We know it's going to take place over 2 seasons, so maybe they'll just do the Abby season first. Probably not, but who knows.
Do the Joel season first.
Do the Joel season. That's what it's going to be. The first season is going to be the Joel season, and then the second season is going to be Ellie and Abby.
Yeah.
Could they? No, they couldn't.
No.
I'm just like, could they do like a season,
maybe?
like a season of all the flashbacks? But I'm like, no,
No.
that doesn't really work. I don't know. I'm just interested to see how they're going to handle all this. But who knows? I guess we'll know 2 years from now. So there you go. The Daniels, the directing and writing duo responsible for Swiss Army Man. It's a funny joke.
I like that movie.
It's a funny joke. Seriously, they are known for their Everything Everywhere All at Once, which we just talked about we didn't talk about the movie at length last week, but it did win a bunch of awards last week, so they are very much in the spotlight these days. So naturally, Disney snipes them, and now they are directing an episode of The Skeleton Crew, which is that Star Wars Stranger Things show that has Jude Law in it.
Great.
Cool. I don't know. This is a weird pick. Just because I am, I'm familiar with Daniel's style. I would not pick them to direct an episode of a Star Wars television program. I think Carl Weathers is directing the next episode of The Mandalorian, or I guess the one that just came out, if you're listening to this on Thursday. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't think we know anything about that show except it's Stranger Things and Star Wars, and Jude Law's in it. So, there you go. We got some news on when Better Call Saul, the last season, is going to be added to Netflix. So for those of you who are doing a big ol' rewatch, or if you're watching Better Call Saul for the first time, you are going to be able to watch the final season on Netflix on April 18th. So there you go. Less than a month away to see content that is over 6 months old,
Yeah.
I think. Maybe
Probably more at this point.
closer to a year.
Yeah.
Because that's how AMC works. And so if you got rid of AMC Plus right after the Better Call Saul finale, like everybody did,
Everyone.
you're finally going to be able to rewatch the last season. Or just rewatch the whole show. So that's good. I think I am gearing up to do a Better Call Saul rewatch here soon. So I'll probably wait until I get a little closer so I'll be able to just watch them all. So there you go. Cool stuff. We don't have anything to discuss for show this week because The Last of Us is over. Succession is coming back next week. If we have enough to talk about, I suppose we can do a discussion of it. We don't usually discuss individual episodes of TV shows that we're watching, but I mean, The Last of Us, I feel like we had a lot to talk about just because we were fans of the game. Succession is just a good show. So
Real.
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I just hope that Tom is still going to be alive. I hate when they kill off characters in Succession, which they
As long
never
as
do.
Greg stays alive.
Greg has to have the happy ending. He has to own the entire
Greg's gonna be the
company.
Game of Thrones winner or whatever.
He's gonna sit on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
It's like the one person that everybody doesn't want on the Iron Throne, and they're like, yes, Greg is
I
going to
just
be
want
the
Greg
CEO.
to snap and just murder everybody. That's
That
kind of
would be
how
cool.
I'm feeling.
That would be
Very
cool,
cool.
like at the very last
Yeah,
episode.
that'd be pretty Games of Thrones too. So
Well,
I mean,
yeah. I don't know. This show is not going for a Game of Thrones tone.
no, I hope they just switch it like on ahead. It's like, nah, we've had enough of this. Like, I need some violence.
Yeah, there's been no violence. It's all been, I want to say political intrigue, but it isn't technically. It's some
people.
kind of somewhat
Company
politics.
politics.
Yeah. And Kendall,
Cool guy.
cool guy. Like Kendall a lot. Killed a guy on accident.
It was.
That's violent.
That is violent. Yeah.
That's the one.
That was
bit of
like on
violence.
some like poor kid though. I want like the rich people to like,
Oh, okay. So you want it to be unrealistic.
Yeah. I need something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect with the ending of this show. But I'm sure they'll stick the landing. It's only gotten better as the seasons have gone on, so we'll probably talk about the pilot. Well, not the pilot, just the first episode of season 4.
I hope there's a pilot in it.
Yeah, and he
be
does
fun.
a plane crash.
Skirt.
That's the only way that rich people die.
That's true. That's a good point. Big airplane comes to get him.
Big airplane.
No, you forgot the other important one. Saying you have information on Hillary's emails.
That's true.
Forget that one.
That's a double whammy.
Watch out. Mark Hamill? He's a Twitter liberal.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
feel like I don't know. I feel like multiple of those characters could like be Hillary Clinton in that universe. So I think it could work.
It could.
I think they'd suicide somebody in that show.
Well, they
I
do.
can see
They do have. what's his face, the guy from Ferris Bueller, who's like the libertarian wet dream guy.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if they're gonna do something.
God,
with
I hate every single person in that show.
Okay, let's go through all the characters that are good on Succession.
Greg,
Greg.
because he doesn't know anything.
Greg is.
Everyone else guilty.
He's just trying to. He's just trying to make a living, I think. I don't know. He seems like he's just okay. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else that I think is good. I like watching Tom. Just
I
because
do, but I hate him so much.
he's really bad.
I've met many Toms in my days.
It's just like he's so two-faced, but like it's so
Yeah.
fun to watch that.
It's very
happen,
entertaining.
I feel like everybody in that show is so two-faced.
Oh, absolutely.
Same with Kieran Culkin. I love like watching him, but like man, I would never ever want to talk to a Kieran Culkin. I would want to talk to Kieran Culkin in real life, but I would not want to talk to his character. Randall Roy, I think his name is. I forgot everybody's name except for Kendall and Greg and Tom. What's the sister's name? Shiv?
Yeah, shit. It's something like
I
that.
don't know why I remembered that. Shiv
Shiv.
is Kendall. Kendall has kids. Are the kids good? Do the kids get a green pass or are they Nepo babies?
It depends, I guess. I don't know.
No.
I don't remember what happens with the kids.
I feel like the kids are just kids, so I think it's fine.
Well, one of the kids I remember is like mentally disabled, and then the grandpa was really mean about it, and
Grandpa.
I forgot to. I feel like I should know that guy's name. The freaking Brian Cox. I know everybody's like actor name. I just don't.
I know everybody's role in the show and everything. I just don't know the names of the characters anymore.
It's been a while. I think we watched the show like right after season 3 came out, so it's been like a year and a half or so, I think. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get back into it because it's great. I love that show. So we'll talk about it next week. Let's move on to movie news. Got a little bit of movie news. I talked last week about how it seems that every single Star Wars movie is getting canned. Not every single one, but the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron movie and then the Kevin Feige one got canceled. And now we got some more drama. More people are getting kicked from movies that are in development. The next one that was supposed to come out was the one that was written by Damon Lindelof, who I believe is like the showrunner of Lost. And did he work on the Star Trek? Found him. Well, they found him, and then he got kicked out.
And then he got lost.
I don't know what happened. It just came out today that Damon Lindelof and the co-writer that he was co-writing the movie with, Justin Britt Gibson, they left the project. Don't know what that means. If it's over creative differences, then that is just Disney speak for Disney wanted to control the entire project and didn't want an artist to come in and actually tell a story. I don't know. There was no specifications. It just said they exited the project, which is weird because this is the next movie that is supposed to come out, the next Star Wars film. So a little bit weird. The director is still attached, which is Charmin. I'm gonna mispronounce this. Obaid Chinoy. They're still on board, but the entire writing staff just disappeared. So that's not usually a good sign. The last time that happened, or the two big times I can remember it happening when it comes to a Disney project, one of them is a Star Wars project, which is that Solo movie was originally going to be made by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who's probably one of the best comedic duos of the time. and they left over creative differences because Disney didn't want them to make a fun movie. And then they hired Ron Howard, who is exactly the wrong person to hire for a Han Solo movie. And then the other one I can think of is when Edgar Wright was going to make Ant-Man. He left over creative differences. And Edgar Wright is pretty public about, like, I think the quote Edgar Wright said after all that was like, I was very excited to make a Marvel movie, but Marvel wasn't excited to make an Edgar Wright movie. So that's pretty much the attitude over there, where it's like, usually what they do is they take small indie directors that have like one hit or like one like moderate success. Maybe they win a couple awards at Sundance or something, and then Disney picks them up to like make a new Marvel or Star Wars project so that they can like completely control them because they don't have a career in Hollywood and they can't really stand up to Disney right now. That's what happened with Rian Johnson with the Last Jedi. He had Looper, which was a moderate success, and then they just attached him to make the 8th Star Wars movie. I can't think of. I think what's the guy? I think the guy who makes the Spider-Man movies. I believe his name is John Watts, and he has a similar thing. I don't think he makes anything other than Spider-Man movies right now, which is fine, I guess. I would say that the modern Spider-Man trilogy, there's not a lot of like soul to like the directing of it, but like the writing has been pretty good, I would say. For the home trilogy, is that what we're gonna call them now?
They all have home in them, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I rewatched Spider-Man 1 this weekend. It was probably like the first time I'd seen Spider-Man 1 since I was a kid. And man, that movie holds up so well. Mainly because Sam Raimi has a lot of style when it comes to how he directs things. Like the camera is always whipping around. And like he isn't afraid to like lean into like the silliness of something in the source material. I think that's also Lord and Miller's like their strength too. But yeah, I don't know. It made me like, I'm like, man, like I remember really liking I always forget which one it is. Is it Far From Home or No Way Home? Which one's the one in Italy? And which one is the one that has Willem Dafoe in it?
Far From Home, I think.
Is Far From Home the Italy one?
Yeah.
No Way Home is
It's the
the one with all of the comeback people.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remembered liking that one a lot, but then like as I was rewatching the first Spider-Man movie, I like there was like this line from I think it was like from the beginning of No Way Home where like they meet Doc Ock and he's like, I am Otto Octavius, and then they like all laugh and they're like, no, really, what's your real name? And it's like, shut up. Like it's a funny name, but also you're a guy who wears blue and red tights and swings around New York City on spider webs. Like you are not any better. Also, your name is Peter Parker. It's like
I feel like that's just regular New Yorker activity, though.
Well, that's true.
They're built different over there.
I'm just saying, they needed to... The joke isn't that the name is silly, because everything about this concept is silly. Most superheroes are silly. James Gunn is also another person that embraces the weirdness and silliness of his IPs. And I just think that these modern Spider-Man movies have not done that in the way that made the Sam Raimi trilogy so great. And we don't need to talk about the Amazing Spider-Man movies because those are just trash.
Oh,
Those didn't sell any Funko Pops, and these ones did sell Funko Pops, so I think these ones were more successful.
Well, I mean, I would take I think as it goes, I think I prefer the Raimi trilogy over the Home trilogy over the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Amazing
I
Spider-Man
think
2 is
objectively the right ranking.
I think it is. But yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 I think is legitimately one of the worst movies a big budget studio has ever put out. It is bad. Not to say that Andrew Garfield is bad. I think a lot of people get that twisted, where they kind of dismiss Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is great. He's a horrible Peter Parker. He is way too attractive to be Peter Parker. I guess Tom Holland is too.
You're supposed to be a nerd.
But I mean, like, Tobey Maguire works as Peter
Yeah.
Parker. Not a great Spider-Man, but he's a great Peter Parker. And I feel like that's kind of what you need. Honestly, I think Tom Holland might be the best Spider-Man we've seen in live action. Because I feel like he's a pretty good Peter Parker, and he's also a pretty good Spider-Man. I just wish that the movies surrounding Tom Holland were better. We're getting a little off track, but I guess we got to fill this podcast with something.
Indeed.
There's that. We were talking about Star Wars movies, somehow got onto Spider-Man. Next on the list, we did get a release date for Jordan Peele's new movie. That will be releasing on Christmas of 2024, so next year. Well, barely, but it is technically coming out next year. In addition, we are also getting a movie produced by Monkey Paw Productions, which is his production company, that is coming out on September 27th of 2024. Don't know what that's going to be. It just says a new horror/thriller film produced by Monkey Paw Productions. And that raised the question to me, what else has Monkey Paw Productions produced other than Jordan Peele movies? And they haven't done a whole lot, but they produced Black Klansman. And I feel like they should get an award for that. Because, I mean, it's Spike Lee. If you give money to Spike Lee for him to make a movie, I think you need to get like all of your budget back from the national government, because I believe that Spike Lee should be our poet laureate when it comes to the film. He is an absolute beast. And Black Klansman is one of his best, and that is saying a lot. So, very good. They also produced that Wendell and Wild movie that's on Netflix. That's made by I think it's Henry Selick. He's done other things. Oh yeah, he directed The Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline and James and the Giant Peach. So he makes like weirdo claymation stuff. And then he made Wendell and Wild, which I've heard decent things about. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and they did the new Candyman movie. So I guess that's fun. So they don't do a whole lot. It's mostly Jordan Peele movies and then a Spike Lee joint and Wendell and Wild and Candyman. But that's about it. But I guess we're getting another flick on September 27th. Don't know what that's going to be. And we don't know what Jordan Peele's next movie is going to be. I sure hope it's going to be 2 words this time. I guess Get
Star
Out
Wars
is 2 words.
27.
Oh, he's going to make a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I would love a Star Wars horror film by Jordan Peele. I think that would be the only way to get John Boyega back.
True.
Yeah. I think John Boyega, like, he just did, like, an interview this week about, like, his experience with Star Wars. And he's already been, like, pretty adamant that he's like, I'm never doing this again. And I don't know, like, I feel like Star Wars fans weren't harsh on him as much as they were to Daisy Ridley and Kelly. Was it Kelly Marie Tran? Is that the chick that plays Rose Tico? I think that's her name.
The issue is you're the Star Wars franchise, and you have a woman, a black man, and an Asian woman.
Possible
true.
Star Wars.
What is so
Who gets the
disappointing?
most hate?
Well, here's the thing: is I think John Boyega's the best thing about that sequel trilogy. He's like he's the most interesting character. I just wish they did more with him, because, and I have nothing against any of the actors in that sequel trilogy. I just think that Rey is the least interesting character, and she's the main character. Like a story about this like baby that was stolen by a fascist regime to be a stormtrooper, breaks out of that and becomes a Jedi. That is a very interesting story, and I wish they told it, but they didn't. And it is very sad. Instead, we got a story about someone who's probably a Palpatine, who isn't a Palpatine, and who is a Palpatine, and also Palpatine is back. That's not interesting. Because Palpatine is dead. Or is he? Is he? I
We
think he
don't know.
is. Turns out he's back somehow.
until he isn't.
Until he isn't. I think one of the best things to come out of Rise of Skywalker is that one guy who's watching it, and then like Poe Dameron says like somehow Palpatine returned, and then the guy just like starts cackling. That's probably the best thing out of the whole the whole sequel trilogy. So yeah. Jordan Peele should make a Star Wars horror film with John Boyega, not as Finn, as someone else. It wouldn't make any sense, but I would like that. But I don't think that Lucasfilm has the cojones to make a Star Wars horror picture in the style of Jordan Peele. That is to say, something to do with race. Although I guess Nope didn't have a whole lot of racial stuff in it. That was just like consumerism. Journalism? There's something in there.
It was a good movie.
It's a good movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm saying, but I from what I hear about Us, I have not seen Us. I should probably watch Us. But Get Out is obviously very has a lot of racial themes in it, and I believe Us does too. Nope is just its own kind of thing. It's a fun summer blockbuster, and that's what it is.
With a monkey in it.
With the monkey, like the name of his production company.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Wow. It all leads back to Monkey Paw Productions. Which I've got to say, it's a great name for a production company.
Maybe since there was a monkey in Nope, the next movie's gonna be a dog movie where a person like his person's brain goes into a dog's body. That nobody's done that before yet.
Called
I
Shaggy
think that would be
Dog.
pretty good. Nobody's done this concept yet. And then they make the dog talk. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I don't think Jordan Peele makes comedies anymore.
It's a dark comedy.
Oh, it's a dark comedy. Nobody makes those anymore. I'd watch that. I'm honestly just gonna watch whatever Jordan Peele makes next. So, which I guess will be next Christmas of 2024. So that's fun.
That's a waste.
It is, but I mean, I feel like it's always like 3-year gaps. No, Get Out to Us is 2 years, and then Us to Nope is 3 years, but that probably had to do with pandemic stuff. So I guess he does do every 2 years under normal circumstances. So it's all right. There's plenty of movies coming out this year that are going to tide me over. Like the next 3 months, I'm going to get Beau is Afraid. I think we're getting the Spider-Verse movie. And Barbie? That's in July. But suffice to say, we're going to be eating good this summer, some have said. And that some is me. Speaking
Yeah.
of summer blockbusters, there's been some turnover at Marvel Studios. What? I know. Victoria Alonso has left Marvel Studios. She was the president of basically the VFX and stuff at the studio. Based on how Marvel was running their VFX stuff, this may or may not be a good thing. Because working conditions working for Marvel films are notoriously awful. And I remember seeing a lot of people criticizing the VFX in that new Ant-Man movie. But man, I have seen some statements from people who worked on that movie, and it sounds like it was the worst 6 months of their life. So
I quite liked that it looked like Spy Kids 3D.
it did look like Spy
Thought
Kids.
it had a nice charm.
MODOK, I mean, if you have not seen a picture of MODOK in the new Ant-Man,
Yeah, I feel like my company where I work, we could make a better looking thing than that.
you guys aren't VFX
Exactly.
producers. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, I think this movie was supposed to come out later this year. This was going to be their fall release, and then Disney moved it up way ahead of schedule, and so then that gave them 6 months to do 12 months work, and that's why it looks like that. So again, I do not blame the individual animators or even the studios working that are being contracted by Disney. This is all Disney/Marvel's fault. So yeah,
Marvel.
it's a little unfortunate. But the person in charge of all that is now gone. So will working conditions improve under a new president? Probably
No.
not.
Absolutely not.
I just don't know. I don't know if this was a firing, because it just said she left. So
She outta here.
she either left of her own accord or she was fired. But I've never seen someone who isn't a super big name person get headlines like Victoria Alonso did for leaving her position. No one would bat an eye if the president of VFX at DC left. Unless they made a movie that had really bad VFX.
They had the last name Schneider.
They have the last name Schneider. Bring back Zack Snyder. That's all I want to say. I guess we could talk about this. Yeah, Zack Snyder posted a really cryptic tweet. It's it was 3 dates. It's a dark side video. Oh no, this is all stuff from the film. Oh, okay. So yeah, Zack Snyder tweeted, it was hashtag full circle, and then it was the dark side from the Zack Snyder's Justice League, not the real Justice League, the Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was the guy who played Darkseid, and he's April 28, 29, and 30. Mark your calendars. Which is a little disconcerting. James Gunn, please don't hire Zack Snyder. He's a talentless hack. Despite what Twitter will have you believe. Despite what the boy
Zack Schneider's those AI kids that type in a little prompt and think they made an art. And then that's just Zack Snyder. He has the brain of a 13-year-old Reddit nerd who loves his adult Lego sets.
Yes. Zack Snyder is a man who loves over-the-top violence and sex. He is a very...
And the colored tan.
and the colored tan. I would say that Zack Snyder is a very competent filmmaker. He knows how to film things. He should not be writing his movies. But it would kind of come full circle because if Zack Snyder made a DC movie for James Gunn, Zack Snyder's first movie was the Dawn of the Dead reboot, which he just directed. He didn't write it, but the person that wrote it was James Gunn.
This is diplomacy.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know where Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 would fit into James Gunn's DC roadmap, but I don't know. I guess we'll see on April 28th, 29, and 30. Because I'm going to report on the Zack Snyder news. The most interesting news. So, yes, very good. Very good. I'm going to talk very briefly about a movie I watched this week. It is by, is it Denis Villeneuve? Is he French or French-Canadian?
It sounds pretty French, but it could be French-Canadian.
He's French-Canadian. Okay.
There you go.
Got it. Denis Villeneuve, I watched a movie before he decided that he really liked making sci-fi movies. It was actually the movie right before he decided he really liked making sci-fi movies. I watched the 2015 hit film Sicario. A movie that you should show your patriotic dad. That's a funny joke.
Okay.
It's a funny joke. Well, I guess
Will
you
do.
could. You could. I don't think your patriotic dad would like it very much. Because it is a movie about there is a like a by the books FBI agent who's played by Emily Blunt. She gets like picked up to this task force that's like a CIA task force that's led by Josh Brolin, who's Thanos, and also the big brother in Goonies. It's the two things I know him from. He's the task force man, and there's also a mysterious guy played by Benicio del Toro that shoots first and asks questions later. And they are trying to track down a drug cartel thing in Mexico. And this movie pulls no punches in showing the United States government as the absolute bad guys in pretty much every situation. They torture people.
Just the objectively correct.
Yeah, it's the correct position. It might have been controversial in 2015. I feel like now you can probably make a movie about the United States.
Yeah, Obama was in
torturing
office. The libs would have been mad.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, they torture people. They're stuck in a highway, and they suspect a bunch of people are working for the cartel, so they just like get out of their car and just gun down everybody in the car. The Benicio del Toro like straight up murders kids in this movie, which technically is not the United States government, but that's a little bit of a spoiler.
Private contractors do it too, and then don't get any consequence for it. So.
Well, okay, I'm going to give some spoilers for the ending because I need to demonstrate how like this movie is kind of awesome and not in a good way. Not necessarily in a good way. It's just very uncomfortable to watch because Benicio del Toro works for the Colombian drug cartel. So the United States, like the CIA, hired him in order to track down the Mexican drug cartel because the Mexican drug cartel is smuggling stuff into El Paso and Phoenix, Arizona. So they like hire the competitors for this Mexican drug cartel to hunt down the Mexican drug cartel. And like the ending of this movie is Benicio del Toro like going to like the lead cartel guy's house. And this guy like killed Benicio del Toro's family. So like he just like walks in and just like murders kids and his wife, and he's just like, now you know how I felt, and then he just shoots him. It is just like it really does not pull any punches, and this is something that's like, I feel like it's like the exact opposite of like action movies. I guess from the 80s, like those Chuck Norris action pictures where he's taking down terrorists and driving in his big truck, playing God Bless America on the radio, shooting a 12 gauge out the window at some red commie bastards. This movie's like,
That's
no.
me.
Yeah. This movie's like, nope, the federal government is straight up in the wrong. And like, they're like, it's really rough. It is rough to watch. And then, and then he made Arrival, and he's like, okay, I like sci-fi movies now. No more political commentary for this boy. Although I guess there is is there political commentary in Dune? It's just a political drama.
Definitely, but yeah.
Yeah, it's Blade Runner. I wouldn't say is political. That one's just anti-corporate, anti-transhumanism
politics.
stuff. True. I guess, you know what? Denis Villeneuve has not stopped with the commentary. It just has not been this upfront about it. Like, you can tell that
I don't think you're used to seeing it either, because I feel like a lot of people don't do it like that.
a lot
Especially
of
since like North Americans, like if you're from the U.S., you rarely can make movies like that.
true. Yeah. So maybe since he's Canadian.
Yeah,
he
because
was
usually the
more
military
removed.
checks stuff and approves it
True.
if you
That
use
is
any
true.
military assets in your movies. If you're from the U.S.,
Well, okay. I think they do have like the National Guard in it. When they do like a raid of like the drug cartel, they have like a tunnel that goes from Mexico to like El Paso, Texas, which is just like Fast and Furious 4. So I think Denis Villeneuve probably stole that idea from Fast and Furious
Yeah.
4.
just
yeah.
start digging around El Paso until you find the tunnel. It's
Then they
there.
found a tunnel.
You'll
Yeah.
find it.
They found a tunnel, and then they had like some army guys, which that scene's really cool because they like shot the whole thing on like night vision camera and was all like handheld. So like that was kind of cool. It kind of felt like watching like some campaign footage from that Modern Warfare campaign where you're like holding guns at kids and whatever. It kind of felt like that. But there were no kids in the Mexican drug tunnel. So,
Wonder why.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good flick. I would recommend it. It just made me very uncomfortable, but
And it achieved its goal.
it achieved its goal. So, it definitely deserves some praise. I do need to do more of a deep dive on his stuff. I do need to watch Arrival, which unfortunately has my arch nemesis Jeremy Renner in it, but I will have
Let's go.
I'll have to put up with it. I think Amy Adams is the main protagonist, so that's good. I like Amy Adams. I just rewatched the Muppets 2011 movie, and so I'm back in the.
I love
Amy.
Sheldon.
I was watching it with my girlfriend. I'm like, "That's Sheldon from Big Bang Theory," and she's like, I haven't seen Big Bang Theory." I'm like, "Yeah, but you know that guy. It's Sheldon. Come on."
Bazinga.
She was not amused. It was unfortunate.
Lame.
Yeah. I feel like Amy Adams is not in a lot of things these days, which is unfortunate because I like her a lot. So I have to watch Arrival, and then I think Prisoners is the one that he made right before Sicario, which I believe has Paul Dano in it and Hugh Jackman. And I like Paul Dano. He's the best Riddler.
He's the best.
He's the best, period. He's probably a contender for best actor out there right now. He's really, really good. Everything I've seen him in has just been fantastic. And he is a better Riddler than Jim Carrey,
True.
which is pretty hard to beat. Jim Carrey is probably the best Riddler other than Paul Dano. Which I guess means that he's in last place. Unless you count like the 60s Batman show, which I don't.
That dude looked goofy.
He's goofy. That show, the guy who played the Joker in that show had a mustache and he didn't want to shave the mustache, so they just did the white face paint over the mustache.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It is pretty awesome. Even for the movie they made for that show, the TV movie, he still didn't shave the mustache. It's like, come on, guy. Joker doesn't have a mustache. Unless in
Maybe
the
Joker
new...
should have a mustache.
Well, if he does have a mustache, he should let it, like, you know, he should have it, like, show through. It's not, he doesn't paint over it.
Yeah. They
He
should
just
give
have a
Joker
green mustache.
and then it like extends to like where the scars end. So it's just a very long mustache. That would be unsettling. That'd be good.
That would be really bad.
And then give like Batman, he has his normal helmet, but he has like a handle, like a biker mustache. It's like an MF Doom mask.
You mean a Doctor Doom mask, which is already a
Yes.
comic book character.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I guess it's different. It's Marvel, so that doesn't count.
True. Doesn't exist.
No. Which, how hasn't Marvel done a Doctor Doom thing yet? Like he's like
I don't
one
know.
of he's like one of the most iconic villains from Marvel. They don't even have him. Are they waiting for their Fantastic Four movie to bring him back?
Probably.
Lame. He should be the next big bad guy. not
Everything
Kang.
needs to be integrated into each other. No experience should be standalone.
Yeah.
Interconnect all your projects, please.
I went to a holiday company party for my girlfriend. There was this big Marvel stand, and this was like right after the new Ant-Man came out, and so we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, it sounds like this is like the start of something new. Like it's great." Like, well, how is it as an Ant-Man movie? He's like, well, I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's more like a big thing. I'm like, okay.
It's like, don't even watch the
Okay.
2-hour movie, dog. Just stay for like the after credit scene so you know what's happening next.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to like have to watch a 25-minute recap video for all the horrible movies they made just so I can watch the next movie that looks somewhat interesting.
Yeah. It's like the whole reason I wanted to see that Doctor Strange movie is because I like Spider-Man a lot, but Spider-Man wasn't even in that movie. And Sam Raimi didn't have as much control as I wished he would. So, yeah, like the only thing I'm into at this point is the Spider-Man stuff. I feel like they have an interesting premise for the next Spider-Man movie if they just keep it simple, stupid, which I think is
We'll see.
I forget what's that from? Is that from Keep It Simple, Stupid? It's from something, but
It is.
It's a good life
BoJack or something.
motto. Is it?
It might be. Seems like something that would happen there.
Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Oh yeah, yeah. What's it from? Oh, it's from the late Kelly Johnson, who was the lead engineer on the Lockheed Skunk Works.
Ew.
Oh, of course.
I'm not using that phrase anymore.
Oh, it's a design principle noted by the U.S. Navy in 1960.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Okay. But the message of that phrase, it stands for Spider-Man movies. That's why this next Spider-Verse movie looks so simple. It's kind of a joke. I don't know what the new Spider-Verse movie is going to be about. It looks complicated. There's too many characters, and I don't like that. As your average movie fan, I can only keep straight 3 characters max. That's why I only remember Spider-Man, Spider Lady, and Black Spider-Man from the first Spider-Verse movie. But wait, there are 2 Spider-Men.
What?
There's the blonde one, and then there's the fat one.
I want the baghead guy.
Well, he is in the movie, I think. The Bombastic Bag Man.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I want to say that that's a weird addition. I get that you probably have to have him in there because it's like one of the most iconic Spider-Man suits for some reason. But the whole thing with that suit is that it's not like his main... It's not the main spider suit that he uses. Like, everybody from, like, the first Spider-Verse movie, that's just, like, what they wear all the time. Like, Spider-Man Noir always wears the fedora and the trench coat. It's not just like, oh, in one issue he was like that and then was like that. It was like one random issue of Spider-Man, he got his suit destroyed, so he stopped by the Fantastic Four offices and got one of their suits and put a paper bag over his head. That's not what he wears all the time. So if he gets sucked into a dimension, it probably wouldn't be wearing the Bombastic Bagman suit. But I think I just lost all of our listeners because that was so boring. So,
Wake up.
wake up! Enough comic book lore. So, yeah, I am very excited for the next Spider-Verse movie. Everything that's been coming out about it, like there's been some interviews with people, sound like that they're like completely let the creative juices fly on this one, which either means it's going to be really, really good or horribly misplaced. But I've learned to trust, Lord and Miller at this point, so. Except they did produce Cocaine Bear, and I don't know what that says.
A great film.
Great film. I felt so vindicated when Red Letter Media posted a review of that movie and they hated it too. I'm like, oh, this feels so good. I felt like sending it to Grant, and then I was like, I don't want to be mean.
His YouTube video will prove you wrong.
Like, I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for my segment of the podcast. Switch on over to music.
Music.
Music. I actually have a couple of things this week,
Oh my.
which is awesome.
Oh.
I feel like no music happened for the longest time, and then all of a sudden everything's releasing in the next 2 weeks. So I like how that happened. It's
Yeah.
been dead though. Like, kind of sucks that all is dropping right now because now we're gonna have to wait like a little bit for some of these because we're gonna do reactions to like 3 of these albums coming out.
True.
But 100 Gex came out this week. What is it? Is this 10,000? Yeah, this is 10,000 Gex.
Yes.
Not to be confused with 1,000 Gex, of course.
Nor their upcoming project, 100,000 gags.
Yes, I that is the next logical step, I think.
Yeah.
That or it'll be like they'll do like an EP and do 10,001 Gex. That would be kind of funny.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, it is 26 minutes long. So we've waited, quite a while. 26 minutes long. I don't mind it though because it does slap pretty hard. It's not as off the wall as the first one. It's not as all like quirky XD haha funny sound effects. But it's still pretty sick. I think their whole like MO is just taking like the most hated and like cliche musical genres and then turning them into semi-ironic, non-ironic bangers. This album starts with a THX, startup sound,
As it should.
which is great.
Every single album should start with
And then
the
it turns
THX.
into just sicko mode. So I literally can't complain about that. Yeah, it goes hard. 757 is crazy. I don't know, just like really fun energy. Frog on the Floor is a borderline children's song, but it do go kind of silly. Doritos and Fritos, obviously, I love that song. That song's a banger. Billy Knows Jamie is a new metal Limp Bizkit type song, which is maybe the best song on the record. I don't know. They did a really good job with it. I was so surprised. But yeah, it's basically a new metal song, and then has like an insane heavy breakdown full of compression and glitching and stuff. So that one hard. Yeah, this thing is all over the place. And then there's also the classic "I Got My Tooth Removed," which is a very sad ode to getting a tooth removed. That turns into a Mighty Mighty Boss Tone song. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I mean, it goes hard. It's funny. It's quirked up. It's what you'd expect from 100 Gex. It does feel a little bit more focused. I'm glad they were able to like evolve their sound a little bit and not stay in that like super niche, whatever hyper pop, crazy sound collage mode that they were in for the first album. So it just feels like a natural progression. It's pretty sick. It had to grow on me at first because of like when you listen to a 26-minute album that you've been waiting for like 3 years, it's kind of like, oh, that's it. But
Yeah.
song's got major replayability, so sounds good to me. I like it.
Okay.
JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown released another single for the album that's coming out this week. We'll be doing a reaction to it on the channel at some point. We do have Black and Boy Genius too, so we'll fit it in there somewhere.
Yeah.
If we have to double record one night or something, or record twice a week or something, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But they did the title track. This song is crazy. This whole album is sounding more crazy than like. This is what that Gex album should sound like. Peggy on production on this album, I think, just went like, how many things can I just put in one song? They're all like less than 3 minutes too, so it's just literal insanity. But yeah, the beat is just hand clapping and then like some dude playing a saxophone, and they're just going off. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's just chaos. It's very different than what Peggy usually does. Danny Brown does feel a little bit more highlighted in this song. I do worry that he's becoming more of a feature rather than a full collab. And I feel like he should be used more just because his voice is insane. I feel like it supports the craziness of production that's happening. But we'll see how that is when that comes out.
Yeah.
And whenever we listen to it. Yeah, we got Black coming out this week as well. We have Black Country New Roads live at Bush Hall coming to streaming on Friday as well. Did not expect them to put this on streaming, but I'm glad it's coming on. I liked it quite a bit. I'll have to listen to it again on streaming and see how I'm feeling about it as an album without visuals and stuff. It is pretty good. It's not, I don't think it stands up to their other two albums, but I wasn't expecting it to. But I'm glad that it's just actually releasing.
Yeah.
So check that out. We got Black this week. I think I haven't listened to any of the singles for that, so I'm going on completely blind, which is good. I haven't done that for an album in a while. But yeah, that'll be coming. We'll be doing a reaction to that next week, so you'll see that soon. Soon. And then we have Boy Genius the week after that. I think they released like another single of that like last week or something. I listened to it once and then intentionally stopped listening to it just so I can have some form of newness when we do the reaction to that.
Yeah.
But other than that, Swans is coming out with an album on June 23rd, which is pretty much what I talked about earlier, but now we have cover art, we have a track list. There's a single coming out tomorrow, so it'll be out by the time this podcast is out. So they're back. The album is 2 hours long, which, expected. I think the single we're getting is like 9.5 minutes, so it's a pretty beefy single. Yeah, but this album ranges from tracks that are 3.5 minutes to the longest one being 44 minutes.
Holy moly.
So it's going to be a wild ride. I am glad that they're back to this format, though. I feel like their last album was like it was shorter. It wasn't like as prominent. It wasn't as heavy. It was more chill, acoustic type stuff. Yeah, their last one was an hour and a half, which seems really short for a Swans record. It was pretty decent, but like from the sounds of like how people were talking about this single, it sounds like they're kind of going back to just fierceness and just insanity. So I am so ready for that. I'll have a review for the single next week, of course, but that was exciting. I feel like there's more. I feel like a lot happened this week for music. Lana Del Rey also comes out this Friday.
What?
Man, this Friday is stacked. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, so that's coming out this Friday too, apparently. We might do that eventually on the channel. I feel like we have a lot of Lana Del Rey on the wheel.
We do. We'll probably listen to it at some point.
Yeah. But I think that was the majority of everything. I'm excited to actually have music to listen to. I feel like this year has been really slow and I have not been listening to a lot of things.
Yeah, there's not been anything. It's very
Nothing.
sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
Cringe.
I've only been listening to Trapdoor.
Ring.
I've been like only listening to System of a Down, so my Spotify rap this year is gonna be a little different.
A little bit.
It's like Radiohead and System of a Down is the only thing I've been listening to this year.
Awesome. Are you okay?
Sometimes you just have to return to Monkey.
Yeah. What have I been listening? I'm still listening to Illinois. Some Cowers.
Of course.
I want Sufjan to be done with his break now. It was cool for a year.
It
but
was
it's
cool, but time's up.
It's time to come back, I think. Come back,
should
watch
be
some
getting
more old movies.
Yeah. Well, we should be getting a Tyler the Creator album this year too. I
That's
forgot that
true.
it's every 2 years.
Yeah. I want this one to be about a bigger yacht.
Bigger yacht. The biggest yacht.
He steals Jeff Bezos' yacht in this one. Has a helicopter pad on it.
Ooh. That's an upgrade.
It is, because his girlfriend is a helicopter pilot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I wish
Yeah,
I could have
I mean-
a helicopter pilot or a helicopter pad on my yacht. That would be so cool.
Mine doesn't have one.
Mine doesn't have one. He has a
I think
helicopter, but
Denzel
no pad.
released things here too. I feel like he was talking about.
Yeah, I think he was saying something about it.
Yeah. I think Billy Woods also confirmed that there's an Arm & Hammer record coming out this year too. So it's
So
weird
there's
because
stuff
there hasn't
coming
been
out.
official announcements for anything. These are kind of just random things that the artists are saying.
Yeah.
So we're still very much in like the early game for a lot of these things, but
And will Frank drop this year?
who
Hard to say.
knows?
It's hard to say.
He does headline Coachella or some festival in April.
Yeah, I think it's Coachella.
Yeah. I don't know. But I feel like I keep forgetting because like I'm just ready for him to like just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel like it could come any day, but I'm not like, waiting and refreshing for it all the time. I'm kind of
Right.
just like when it happens, it's going to happen.
Yeah. He's going to drop 3 releases in 1 week this time.
Yeah. He's going
Three.
to up his game.
Yeah. Last
It'll
time,
just be
2
one
wasn't enough.
3-hour album and there'll be no vocals on it.
Well, I don't think I would like that.
It's just going to be all the Blonded Radio background music that he made
Oh,
in
yeah.
one album.
That actually wouldn't surprise me if he does release that all at some point. But it would be disappointing
Yeah.
if that would be what he follows up Blonde with.
Oh, he'd be crucified. He'd be able to do that. I know he doesn't care, but you'd have to like think about it a little bit. We're like, they probably wouldn't like that.
Yeah. I think what we all want is a Channel Yellow.
Yes, Channel Green even,
Have it all just be about money.
and the environment.
Not as important.
Yeah,
It's that cash.
that cash.
I've always said that cash is the most important thing in life. Put that on my tombstone.
I'll make sure all the S's are dollar signs.
Oh, yes. All right, cool. Well, I think that's podcast.
Is
I think so. Next week, Is someone gonna see Scream 6?
No.
No.
Okay, then we have nothing to look forward to.
I'll scream 6 times and then review that.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Give us a sneak peek into it right now.
Oh.
That ain't no
You
stream. That's
gotta
a
go
week.
to 6 places in public and scream, and then film your experience, and then we'll put it
Yeah.
in the podcast.
Perfect.
There we go.
And then
How
I'll
about, like-
watch Scream 6, and then I'll talk about that.
Awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have to like record myself in public because there's no video on a podcast.
That's true.
So I could just go to different parts of my apartment.
That's true. That is technically true. Yeah, I don't think there's anything coming out this weekend. Let me see if Greg Marcus has some goodies for me. But I don't think so. Coming soon for movies. John Wick 4 is out. Forgot about that. There's that D&D movie. Oh boy, I'm so excited for D&D, the film.
It looks like a Marvel movie, so I'm just gonna like chill until someone says it's good, and then I'll go watch it.
I don't think I'm probably gonna go see it. But I have seen like people have been seeing it and have been giving it positive reviews, so I don't know. Maybe. I just don't know how you make a D&D movie good, you know.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like. Yeah, it looks off. I don't know why.
I don't
It
know
looks
how
very off.
I don't know how you adapt a tabletop role playing game into
Yeah,
into a movie.
I feel like it's too open, and that studio execs wouldn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you could just make any fantasy movie and label it as a D&D movie. Technically,
That's
you'd
true.
have to change some stuff to like kind of
Just throw in a beholder somewhere.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But we do have the Mario movie coming out a couple weeks, April 5th. So I will probably be seeing that day one, midnight showing, just because I love Mario so much.
Miro.
It's probably the funniest film, hopefully. So,
Yeah.
bye.